What kind of health are you talking yourself into? What's going on, fam? DrSean here, continuing the conversation on how you can win and how we can win together, primarily by leveraging the art of communication. All day long, I hear people talk themselves into health conditions that they don't want. We are not aware of it, but that is what we are doing. We are doing what I call using the language of limits. We use the language of limits to talk about our identity, our abilities, and our capacity. But the first one is the one that probably makes me the most concerned. So I've been practicing for about 21, 22 years now. And the earlier part of my practice, I would hear people come and say, I'm an alcoholic. That has always bothered me so much. And I think it bothered me, and I would ask about it. And usually the follow-up is, once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. What are we saying about ourselves, and how is this helping us to win? Well, finally, I think I was about 13 or 15 years into practice when a gentleman came in and told me that he used to drink heavily. As a matter of fact, he had been an alcoholic, Alcohol Anonymous, but he was not involved and he hadn't had a drink for many, many years. I mean, it was, probably a decade or so. And so I brought this up to him because he seemed like he was free. I mean, he was completely free by all manner of expression. I just loved it. And I brought this up to him, this whole idea. He says, you know what? I don't feel like it anymore. I don't feel like I'm an alcoholic. I know they teach that, and I'm not sure why they teach that, but I feel completely free of it. I don't want it. I don't long for it. I don't miss it. There's not a part of me that wishes I could go back to that. That was just a different part of who I was, maybe at that time, but I'm just not now. And I thought, thank you so much, because we have these blanket rules that once you're this, you're always this. And once we have it as a part of our identity, how easy is it to manage it? And how easy is it to overcome it? Can you overcome something that is who you are actually? I mean, really. And so I'm very careful about the language that we use. I am completely against this idea that once we're this, we're always that. I mostly recommend people referring to their health conditions as their health conditions. I mostly don't even use diseases so much, because it seems like we get stuck there without any option of being unstuck. And so as you're going about your discussions and you hear people referring to their identities, I am, I've never been, pay close attention to what comes after that. Also pay close attention to what comes after when they say I cannot and I can. They're telling you something. We are telling each other. We are telling ourselves, because we listen to ourselves more than anybody else listens to us. We're saying some very fundamental messages about what's going to happen to our health. We're talking ourselves into and out of health conditions, and we're not even realizing it. And many times we are talking about certain capacities. I can't cook, abilities I don't have, I can't go. I mean, we're saying all sorts of things and we don't realize it, but we are talking ourselves into and out of health conditions. So my recommendation, be very careful as we use the language of limits in describing who we are, what we can do, and what we have. As a matter of fact, I would try to discipline yourself out of it, as I have tried to discipline myself out of these practices. I think we kind of grow up with them. And I would also practice the language of a choice, a new language, as a matter of fact. But that does take a little insight. It takes some time. It takes somebody being around and listening. It's one of the things that I teach because of my interest in seeing people win and keep winning.